Welcome back! I'm filming this between the years, so by the time I upload it, it will be probably too late. But anyway, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year! Even if you don't subscribe to any Christian religion or use another calendar. 2-3 weeks ago also I uploaded a video about the built-in analog comparator of the megaAVR Series 0 MCUs. Card here, link in the description. And more links in the description to other megaAVR Series 0 stuff. Today I want to have a look at the built-in temperature sensor of the megaAVR MCUs. Enjoy! What am I talking about? I think all ATmegas, not only the megaAVR Series 0 MCUs, have a built-in analog temperature sensor, and the analog output of that temperature sensor is available as input to the analog to digital converter. Now, that video is not about all the settings of the analog to digital converter, but of course we will have to configure it. So at the end we have the analog value from the temperature sensor as a digital value in the result register of our analog to digital converter. The datasheet of the ATmega4809, by the way, link in the description, contains in the ADC sections, amongst other things, also a chapter about temperature measurement. I won't go into the details now, we can do that when we go over the code at a later point, but basically you have to perform 8 steps. First, you have to configure the internal voltage reference to 1.1 volt. Then you have to select the internal voltage reference as the reference for your ADC. Then you have to choose the temperature sensor as an ADC input. You have to configure 2 timings here and set the right sample capacitance. And then you just acquire the data and you process the measurement results. And that's it. Going back to the block diagram of our ADC, that means we set our internal reference voltage to 1.1 volt. We choose that internal reference as the reference for our ADC. We choose the temperature sensor as input for our ADC. We configure some timings and the sampling capacitance of our ADC, and then we just do a conversion, and then we have the result. But wait, there was an 8th step. Process the measurements results as described below. And here a slight difference between the older ATmegas and the newer megaAVR Series 0 MCUs pops up. You see, the newer ATmegas provide you in some registers with calibration data for the temperature readings. The datasheet contains some example code how to apply that calibration data, but I guess since we will next look at my code, we don't have to go over that now. At this point, I would normally go over existing libraries for that temperature sensor. However, I haven't found any. There is some, let's call it prior art, from Tom Almy. Link in the description. With that out of the way, let's dive right into the code. First, we include, as always, AVR.io.h, which contains all the definitions for the megaAVR registers and bits. I've explained that many times before, see all the links in the description. Then we have two global variables, a slope correction and offset correction, which will contain the calibration data stored somewhere inside the MCU. Please note, a slope correction is an unsigned 8-bit integer, and the neutral values should be here 128 or 127, while the offset correction is a signed 8-bit value, and here 0 is of course the neutral value. In the setup, we first initialize the serial so we can print out something on the serial monitor, and then we configure the internal voltage reference to the 1.1 volts we need. We do that by writing the related bits into the VREF control A register. And of course, we are choosing here the bit combination for 1.1 volt. Then we tell the ADC to use the internal voltage reference by writing the related bits into the ADC0 control C register, which I'm doing here for the internal voltage reference. Next, we configure the prescaler of the ADC. The ADC doesn't run directly from the MCU clock, but that frequency is divided down. If you look into the datasheet, you see that your ADC clock must be between 50 kHz and 1.5 MHz for 10-bit resolution. Now, our megaAVR runs at 20 MHz, so the minimum division the prescaler has to do is 20 MHz divided by 1.5 MHz. That's 13.3. Of course, the prescaler can't divide by 13.3. The next larger divider is 16. So we write that also into the related bit group inside the ADC control C register here. And that's it for the prescaler. Of course, we have to tell the ADC to use the temperature sensor as input. That's done via the ADC0 max pos register, which contains a related bit group, and we just write the correct value for the temperature sensor to that bit group. A requirement specific to those temperature measurements is that we configure the ADC initialization delay to be greater or equal 32 microseconds. Now remember, we had our prescaler set to 16, so our ADC is running at 1.25 MHz. That is, a single ADC clock cycle is just 0.8 microseconds. And we need at least 40 of that ADC clock cycles to reach that 32 microseconds delay. Of course, you don't have a setting with 40 ADC clock cycles, and the next largest setting is 64 ADC clock cycles. That is configured in the ADC0 control D register in the related bit group, and we just write here the right value for a delay of 64 ADC clock cycles. Another requirement specific to those temperature measurements is to configure the ADC sample time to be at least 32 microseconds. Now, we already know that one of our ADC clock cycles is just 0.8 microseconds, so we would need 40 ADC clock cycles. Now, there are already two fixed ADC clock cycles when it's sampling, so we need at least 32. The problem here is that set in the ADC0 a sample control register, and the maximum numeric value you can write here to the bit group is 31. It's only 5 LSBs, so we just use 31 and will be good enough. Next, we set the ADC sample capacitance to 5 picofarads. Generally speaking, you use 5 picofarads for reference voltages greater or equal 1.1 volts and 10 picofarads for voltages below that. We do that by writing a bit to the ADC control C register, just ADC samp cap, and that will make sure that we are using the 5 picofarad sample capacitance. Finally, we retrieve our calibration values for the temperature sensor from the related Zigro TempSense0 and TempSense1 registers and store them in our global variables. And that's the setup. In the loop, I'm using 4 variables. First, a 32-bit unsigned integer ADC result. Why I need here a 32 bits, we'll see in a second. Then a 16-bit unsigned integer to store the temperature we measured in Kelvin, and a 16-bit signed integer for Celsius. Furthermore, I have here an unsigned 32-bit integer sample start, which I'll be using for some timing measurements using micros. First, we start the ADC conversion by writing the ADC start conversion bit to the ADC0 command register. Then we'll wait for the conversion to be completed by checking in the ADC0 inflex register if the result ready bit is set. And while we're waiting, we are measuring and printing out the time it took for the ADC to complete the conversion. Finally, we read the ADC result and apply the corrections and the conversions to Kelvin and Celsius. So first I read here out from the ADC0 res register, which is a 2 8-bit register, so 16 bits in total, our ADC result, and write it to my ADC result variable. Please note that without any correction, one LSB of that 10-bit number we are reading out here is equivalent to about 0.5 kelvins. I print out the raw value to the serial monitor, and then we apply the offset correction, just subtracting that 8-bit signed integer from our ADC result. I print out the offset correction we applied and the new offset corrected ADC result. Next, we apply the slope correction to our ADC result, and here's the reason why I need 32 bits. The ADC result is 10 bits and the slope correction is 8 bits, so 18 bits, doesn't fit into a 16-bit integer. Again, I print out here the slope correction we applied and the new corrected value. Then that's out of the code we saw in the datasheet. I add here to the ADC result basically 0.5, just so when we apply later on a division, we get a nicely rounded result. And then you simply divide by 265, that is a right shift by 8 bits, and you turn that way the ADC results into a temperature value in kelvins. Likewise, if you subtract 273 from kelvins, you get the result in Celsius. Obviously, we're working in integers here, so the correct conversion from Kelvin to Celsius would be minus 273.15. Finally, I print out the temperature. And now let's see how well that thing works. And here's the rather anticlimactic result. So let's stop the scrolling here and look at the temperature in Celsius, 26, 26, 26. Let's scroll a little bit further, but it seems to be quite stable. Yeah, 26, 26, 26, and we have aboutish, ambient temperature 21 degrees Celsius. Of course, using the internal sensor here will give us a higher result because we are dissipating power inside our MCU. But it's quite close to the ambient temperature, at least when our little ATmega here is basically doing nothing but executing some code and not driving some 20 milliamp LEDs or something. The details. The sample time is 324 microseconds. That's also quite, stays constant here. Multiply that by 20, we're running at 20 megahertz, and you get about 6,000 instructions, single cycle instructions that you can do while the sampling happens. Our raw ADC value, it fluctuates just a little bit between, 2,523, and I also saw here, it jumped again, 524. So, one bit noise. That's also okay, but please keep in mind we're running that from a laptop over USB and not via the built-in switching voltage regulator. Offset correction, we have -8. That's always the same, of course. So we get our offset corrected value here. And then we have the slope correction of 144. Remember, 127, 128 should here be the neutral value. And if we multiply that, we get to the ADC slope corrected value, which we have to divide by 265 again to get to our Kelvin, respectively, Celsius values. That's it. And that's it also for today. I have absolutely no idea what we will do next week. I'm still a little bit reeling from the festivities, and I'm also a little bit pressed for time. But anyway, till then, bye.